All right, let's go ahead and move on to item number 4, and this is citizens to be heard. This is the opportunity for citizens, visitors, and guests to address the city council on any issue or any item of the agenda in compliance with LGC section 551.007. City council may not discuss any presented issue, nor may any action be taken on any issue at this time. Citizens to be heard are limited to 3 minutes each. Attorney General Opinion, JC 0169. And I think we had Mr. Cruz. I want to go ahead and come on up. I think, if I remember correctly, let's see, B and H, and those are different ones that we have. Okay.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. You got 3 minutes.
All right. Dear City Council members, I'm requesting clarification and documentation on Saddle Ridge phases 3 and 4. I'm asking as a concerned resident of Saddle Ridge regarding the ongoing and upcoming development activities in our community. I have a few questions. So question number 1, what are the scope and timelines for phase 3 and 4 for Saddle Ridge development? Why are these phases being initiated if phase 2 remains incomplete? Also, can we or will we receive documentation of plans for phase 3 and 4, including layouts, infrastructure plans, and city approved permits or plats? The question is HOA fee concerns. Why is the developer not currently paying HOA fees on the lots they own? This lack of contribution is placing a financial burden on current residents and has reportedly pushed the HOA budget into the red. We're hoping that the addition of phases 3 and 4 do not result in increased HOA fees for the existing homeowners. We believe in transparency, accountability are essential to maintaining trust and financial stability in our community. I look forward to a response and the requested documentation. Thank you.
Appreciate you mentioning that. Please get with our city attorney so we can go ahead and, our city administrator, so we can go ahead and take care of that.
Yes, sir.
And there will be, I'm going to be straightforward with you. There'll be some things that we'll be able to provide clarification, but some of the things actually belong to the HOA, which is independent from the city of Lytle.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Understood.
But we'll close what we can with you. Okay? Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm glad that worked out really good with that first meeting. I heard we had Councilman Rodriguez there, so I'm glad that worked out with a few things that you had open.
You opened the door big time. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Appreciate your help.
No problem. Okay, anybody else in open comments? All right, so let's go ahead and move on to consent agenda. And we're going to go ahead and consider the approval of the minutes, October the 27th, 2025.
Mayor, I'd like to start by making a motion to approve the meeting minutes for October 27th, 2025.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, got a second. Any discussion on the minutes? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All yeas. Okay, and let's go ahead and move on to B, consideration of the approval of the payment of the bills.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the payment of the bills as presented.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Got a second? Okay. Any discussion?
Yes, this is actually on Fontero. I know we had asked in the past, and based on the price that we're paying monthly, we had requested at one point a inventories list and responsibilities. Have we received that?
So we do have the inventory, and I'm happy to provide that if you would like to see that. As far as responsibilities, all that is outlined like in the contract and everything, but we do have a list of all the equipment.
So can we get a copy of the contract and
Yeah.
the inventories list?
Mhm.
If you don't mind sending it to all the council members.
I can.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Oh, I'm sorry, one more.
Yeah.
So the Hansco, is that finished? That project's complete? Is that a complete payout?
Yes, that's for the demolition of the structure over here, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and we've invoiced the customer. Obviously, I don't anticipate us getting paid back, but we'll assess the
But that's
land
gonna be-
accordingly and all that kind of
That'll
stuff.
be tied into the property?
Correct.
At some point?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
No problem. Anything else, council? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, come on in. There's plenty of seats in the front. It's like church. We got plenty, there's always, come on up. It's no problem whatsoever. You can even hang out with Richie over here. It's all good. All right, let's go ahead and move on to item number 6, open session, take action on the item discussed. A, consideration and possible action concerning driveway access for single-family homes built in the GGG subdivision. Do we have anybody
I
here?
don't see them here, so we asked them to be here. I would say table it unless y'all want to have a conversation about it.
The only thing is because of the timetable that they actually have, I would like to go ahead and have a discussion so at least we can bring the council up to speed
Sure.
with where we're at, because some of the council members is best. And
Yeah.
Austin, at the same time, we can get direction to, we're gonna talk about it and just put it out there. I'll present some information in there based on some research and stuff and see if we can go ahead and just take care of it
Yeah, for sure.
as best as possible, because I think it's just clarification type
Yeah,
action.
no, not a problem. I'm happy to do that for council, and we'll see where we end up. But I think the data sheet did a pretty good job of trying to summarize the situation here. Basically, this GGG subdivision was platted back in 2022, May of 2022. At that time, variances prior to that were given in 2021 to the lot size for 3 lots. So it was one singular lot. They wanted to go down to, or make 3 lots. And this is at the corner of unimproved Hester Road and off of Somerset. And so they wanted to go to 3 lots. They were approved to do so based on the variance that was approved by council at that time. Part of the conversation at that time was centered around driveway access, a large percentage of the conversation. Ultimately, there were multiple options, I think, discussed in reviewing, the videos and going back and looking at the minutes. But one of the things that was discussed was if they chose to go a different route other than what council wanted, which was originally they had approved going into the rear of the property off of Hester, creating kind of a shared driveway among the 3 lots, and they would be parking in the back, right? So that way, the biggest concern was traffic off of Somerset, and especially backing up into Somerset being such a busy road. Ultimately, as you fast forward to 2025, earlier this year, they pulled permits for 2 of the homes, and they have started construction, obviously. The permits did not, and the plans did not include driveways. We were told at that time that that was going to be a completely different contractor doing the driveways, and so we approved the plans based on the plans themselves and just the home. So we're at, I believe, a couple weeks ago now, they started to form up driveways in the front, which obviously was counter to what council had agreed to prior, or the conversations around that. And so we obviously called them in and said, hey, hold on, we got to put a stop here and talk about this. And so I think Mayor probably can add to some additional conversations that happened at that time. David, Councilman Emery was here as well. But ultimately, they said, are there any other options? And so what we said is, if you're going to do it in the front, you're going to have a way to basically create a T or a hammerhead type driveway where you have a parking pad that is for 2 cars, as well as the driveway being for 2 cars, since we require a 2-car parking area for residential homes. And that way they would be able to back into that parking pad and then come out Somerset facing forward, since the concern was backing up into that. The drawing that was provided, I did provide to you. At this time, I actually had a conversation, since I was out all last week, with Scott Horowitz, our engineer, reviewing that. He has not given me a for sure A-OK, we're good. So that's the only concern we have that's still lingering out there. But he did say that he should be able to get that to me by Wednesday at the latest. He doesn't see any issue, but he's still just double checking a couple of things. So I'll kind of leave it there, and I think Mayor and Councilman Emery can probably provide additional context and anything else you want to provide at this time.
Yeah, I think with this one, the other reason, and you did mention it, but just for the council, the other reason that we put a stop on it was just because it's a single car driveway, and we were pretty clear that it needs to be a two-car
Correct.
driveway to be able to have something in there. So we actually sat down with them and just tried to get some clarification on there. And this was one of the options that we were talking about. But even though in the picture, it kind of looks like it's not that much of a room, when you look at the lots, they're gonna take a lot of the room.
We'll pick up the whole front yard.
Yeah,
Pretty close.
and that's what we talked about. That's what we talked about back then, and that's why the reason of the other option. You know, what we have here, if Scott says it's okay in a sense of being able to, the only modification I would say is he indicated 14 feet on here. When you look at our driveways that we actually have since the time that we started, they've been 16 or 18. So the minimum I would say needs to be at 16. You said LGI is doing 18?
LGI currently, most of the driveways are 18, but I would say none are under that 16. So
Yeah.
16 definitely is kind of that minimum, and then it goes up from
Yeah.
there.
So I think we just need to, when we talked to them, we also mentioned about making sure that we had distance from the back for them to be able to have that. So it'd probably be good for us to be able to have a consistent 16 on there for them to have the room
Yeah.
on there.
And the only other thing I will note is I want to be very particular. Any approval or anything, I want to make sure we're really only focused on 19505 and 19503. We
Yes.
don't even have plans yet for 19501, and so I would like to address that completely separate at a different time. I know they provided it in the drawing, but being that we have no plans and no permit that's been issued, I think it would be
Yes.
doing us
You're
a
correct.
disservice to talk about that one. at this
So we're
time.
trying to help them out as best as possible, but I think we need to stay within the parameters if they're gonna do something, and having the width that goes along with that. And just, why are we concerned with that in the past, just council? You know, you're looking at the average between 6.5 to 7 feet. Some of the trucks, and that's a regular car. So if you're looking at a truck, you know, nice full-size truck, work truck, you're talking about more closer to 8 feet, depending on what size of mirrors that they actually have. So I think it's at a minimum, we need to stick to the 16 feet, you know, both on parking and also the width, just so they can have the distance that goes along with that, based on Scott doing the engineering in that area too. They'll have to look at, because there's certain things that they already have in the front yard, that they'll have to figure that out, but I
A
just
bit
wanted
more
to provide.
information. You mentioned that they had indicated they would put the shared parking in the back. When we talked to them, this for the council members, when we talked to them the other day, they said, well, we looked at it, but once we got the houses on the ground, there wasn't enough room to make a shared driveway and parking area for the house.
Yep.
So that's why they shifted out to the front. And I'll put my 2 cents worth in, minimum 16 feet for both the pad and the driveway.
Are the houses already up already?
Yeah, so the two, the 19505 and
The
503.
blue and the gray one?
Yes.
That's the one you're talking about?
Yes.
Is there room for a truck about?
Yes, right.
Technically, I mean, because the variances were given, yeah.
Yeah, but when the plans come over, we'll have to look at it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to double check that for
We don't know what
setbacks
size
and all
of the
that kind of
house it's gonna
stuff,
be.
yeah, so.
So,
But I mean, there are 3 lots there. They were platted as 3 lots based on the variances that were approved back in 21 and 22, so.
so Austin, can we just make a motion for those 2 homes to have driveways and hammerheads at 16 feet and just leave it there, based on engineering review? Just so it doesn't need to come to council or anything.
Yeah, so part of the problem is there are no regulations on driveway that I've been able to find. This is R1, correct?
Yes, yes.
So R2 has a parking regulation where you require 2 parking spaces.
We
There's-
do,
We
it's
do
not,
have a
it's
two-car.
for R1 as well, but it's not codified on Muni Code. So,
Okay, that's why.
It says a
I did.
two-car.
It does say 2-car. It was done in '23.
Okay. And it just says what they need two parking off street parking spots?
Off-street parking.
If it mirrors the language in the y'all have in R2, it just says they've got to be arranged in a way. It says arranged so as to permit satisfactory egress and ingress of an automobile. Whatever
That's
that
the
means.
reason why we discussed it with them.
So whatever design, I don't know that we can dictate a design, but if they submit a design that allows for satisfactory ingress and egress, then it's gonna meet the standards for the city.
Yeah, but the bottom line is that the original council denied the front parking, or front driveway. So we can go by that.
The Board of Adjustment did, yeah, council sitting as Board of
Yeah, so,
Adjustment granted a
I mean,
variance.
just that alone doesn't allow for the front, but I'm willing to agree with the council if they, so choose to have that 16-foot. But I need clarification, this was okay in discussion?
This was what's
with-
an option, but the option, from what we, and please correct me, is it was gonna take too much of the front yard. So they were looking at other options to try to do that, and that's the reason why they actually moved away from doing
I think the
this.
other competing factor you have now is the third lot, right, that's not built on is technically under another ownership, whereas previously it wasn't. So that's the other competing factor with now the driveway, in the rear. They'd have to amend the plat to access easements and all that kind of stuff. So not our problem.
The problem is, we keep getting people coming in here, we keep getting residents coming in here, and they want to build something that the property doesn't support.
Yeah.
We constantly get that, and as a council member, I have to go based on what our ordinances have, based on what seems reasonable, right? And to follow just the rule, and the original council said, no parking on the front. The parking was allowed in the back. So what I need to know right now is, can we approve the 16 feet in the front with the T-head?
That's what we've actually talked to them as an option for them to do that. Not specifically with the 16 feet, but telling them about the two-car.
See,
because
but
that's-
then my motion would be to only allow the front parking if it had the T and it was at 16 feet. That would be my motion.
And that's what we've done with everybody else when we talk about driveways.
Right, and unfortunately, that's what we have to deal with when people come in here. I say people, when residents come in here and want to go beyond what the ordinance allows. So, I mean, I'm willing to make a motion that specifically states if 60-foot driveway with the T-head, which would allow
So
them to turn it
Michael,
back
in
out.
the initial discussions, I don't think we voted against front parking.
Yeah.
But
Right, however.
They said, we plan on putting it in the back, and we said,
Right.
good, that's where it should be.
And then
But
it
we
ended
didn't
up
say
with
it's
no
forbidden in
drawing,
front.
right.
Right,
Yeah.
And then guess what, all of a sudden, there's
Yes.
forms put up.
yes.
And that's what we gotta try to stop. We gotta try to
Sure.
stop the citizens from doing their own thing without coming to council, because based on what I read in 22, that's what ended up happening. It wasn't submitted, it was gonna be a different contractor, they were gonna require a different drawing, and guess what? None of that ever happened. So you can't go against council's mandates, right?
Right.
That's what I'm trying to get at here, so.
Yeah.
But we don't need to undo anything because we never made it rock solid. We just need to tell them now, if you're gonna put them in the front.
Yes, and that's
they
what I
have
would like to
this.
do. I would like to make that motion.
Yeah.
However, Austin, I need your directive. Do we make that a motion, or do we just take no action and allow them to resubmit drawings?
So their original variance that Board of Adjustment gave was to allow smaller lots. And one of the conditions of doing that, because you can put whatever conditions you want on it, so one of the conditions for allowing smaller lots was no ingress egress directly onto the street, right? They
Right.
needed to go behind. So right now, they have two options. One, they need to, the variance doesn't allow being, a different, it doesn't allow them to build a driveway and pull onto, I think it's Somerset, right, is the street?
Yeah, Somerset.
So they would need to come back to Board of Adjustment and ask for a separate variance, right, allowing or modifying the first variance, saying here's how the parking's gonna look. Because that was part of the problem. It was stipulated it wouldn't be in the front, but it wasn't. Y'all acting as Board of Adjustment didn't,
So
lock
do
in.
we take no action?
Well, their other option is whatever they're proposing now consistent with the rules as they're written? This T-head thing, and that's an engineering question. That's what we're waiting
But
to
I
hear
thought that
from.
was our suggestion, or the city's suggestion.
Well, it is, but
When
if
we
it
had the
complies,
discussions with them, that's what we, and even the second time when we sat with them and we talked about it, that's what we mentioned in the sense of being consistent. with-
and that's where the city engineer would look at that and say, yes, that fits within our existing rules. If so, they don't need y'all to approve it. It's already approved, right? It's allowed under the rules. If it's not, then that's where you would need a variance, or really in this case, to modify the initial variance to say
Well,
here's.
and I think the problem is that without any specific width requirement in the ordinance, technically this would. So if the concern is the width, then I would say the best course of action would be to have the variance modified.
Yeah,
So,
because so we've had these discussions before, and I think, we've had other folks that have been here. And we've been very consistent about the 16 feet before in discussions with others. To include when we had the discussion with the developer, and we had the smaller house, because they wanted to put a single, and we're like, nope, you gotta put 2-car, driveway,
Yeah.
and it had to be consistent with what we had. So that 16 has always been there. LGI has decided to go a little bit larger.
Well, and if all we have is a rule that says you need a 2 parking spots, then it becomes an engineering question, is 16 feet adequate?
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, I think it's in the best interest of the owner for us to go ahead and do 16, because if we do engineering, I can tell you right now, based on what they have, it's not gonna have enough room, and they're gonna have to do concrete the whole front of the yard.
So, but I think the engineer would have to make that
I'm with you.
call on this.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
But what we're trying to do is we're trying to help the residents out, and we're trying to give them an option so they don't have to come back to us. And that's basically, we want to say, hey, if you're within, you'll be okay. Because then the engineering cost is going to go ahead and go along with that. There's no way. When you look at that, picture a big truck, okay? Got 27 inches, feet, I'm sorry, 27 feet, right?
Mhm.
And you're going to try to back up into 14 feet, backing from that all the way back.
So,
You're not going to be able to back it up.
yeah, so council's role in that would be to go ahead and incorporate that standard into the design rules, right?
So let's do
But
this.
if it's
I
not
don't want to
already
spend
in
any more
there.
time. If we can just go ahead and have a motion for us to go ahead and table this until we get further direction and get our engineer involved, and then we'll take it from there.
Table or take no action?
table, we would be back next time.
Table it'll come
Take
back.
no
It
action.
may not
Sure,
have
they
to come
get
back.
their
If
revisions.
the engineer tells them you need 16 feet, which is what y'all are saying, then they have to do that.
Personally, I think the engineer's going to say that they're going to need wider in one of those.
Yeah.
I'm going
It's
to be honest
possible.
with you.
Well-
One of them is actually going to have to be more than even 16 feet in order for you to back up that truck and be able to do what you need to do.
And then in that case, they need to come back for a variance because they're asking to do something other than what the engineer, or other than what's allowed under the code.
So to take no action?
I would take no action. I mean, let's see what the engineer says, and then if we need to bring it back to y'all for some reason, we can. If it's gonna come back to y'all, it's probably gonna be in sitting as Board of Adjustment, though, asking for an exception to the rule.
I think our concern, at least, I know my concern is voiced here, so. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to take no action.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? Second? Okay, any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, let's go ahead and take care of business. Thank you, appreciate that. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. Let's go ahead and take a look at B, presentation and discussion from Kimley-Horn and Associates regarding Phase 1 of the Lytle Master Drainage Plan.
Yeah, so just want to introduce Deanna and the Kimley-Horn team, but just give you all a brief presentation on the Phase 1 portion of the master drainage plan. And I will close the presentation.
Sure. Mayor and council members, thanks for having me here today.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
Yeah,
you for being here.
going to give you all a great update on where we are with the master drainage plan and then what's to come. So, just a background on the project. We had two main goals for this project. Was number one being to analyze the existing floodplain within our city limits, and then in turn update the FEMA firm maps with that updated floodplain. And then goal number two, analyze existing areas that experience heavy flooding today and propose solutions to alleviate the flooding issues in those areas. So, as part of Phase 1, which is what we've done up to this point, Kimley-Horn created existing condition hydrologic models to quantify how much runoff was within the watershed that drains to the city of Lytle. So as part of that, 4 watersheds were analyzed: the North Prong, Atascosa River, West Prong, Atascosa River itself, and then Lytle Creek. So our study limits were set to the southern city boundary, and combined of all those 4 watersheds, 17 square miles of drainage area is what's draining to City of Lytle and through City of Lytle.
The North Prong.
I know that wording is small up there, but are you
I'm
able
just
to
trying to
see?
picture it. Trying to figure out. Basically the city. Okay, so Main Street right here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So North Prong on that side, so that would be on that side of 2790.
Yes.
This is 2790, and then this one here. Okay. Yeah, it's Costa River, and then the Lytle Creek, which goes.
And what are the red borders?
Those are the drainage area boundaries.
The boundaries for that
Mhm.
particular, okay.
Yes.
All right. Council, have an idea?
Great.
Just so we can kind of.
And then eventually, all those creeks we analyzed, they do drain to Atascosa River. That
Which is down here,
confluence of all of them happens downstream of the southern boundary of the city. Yeah, correct.
here.
Right.
right?
Mhm.
So we got all those coming right into this area.
Right.
Okay.
So we used 2021 LiDAR topography to delineate those red drainage area boundaries, and we used existing and future land uses to calculate those flows. We did incorporate feedback. We had met with Zach to talk about some of the future land uses within the area for the areas that are currently undeveloped, making sure that we were accounting for what's to come in those areas in the future with our calculations. And so we calculated the runoff for the 10, 50, 100, and 500-year storm events, which those are the storm events required by FEMA, which is why we chose those storm events.
And the color coding is?
Those are all the different land uses.
Red is?
Ooh, red is, I believe, commercial.
Oh, so these are zones, these are not
Yes.
levels or amount of
Is
flooding?
Right,
general
right.
land use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's the one, that's the slide I'm waiting for.
So that was all that was done in Phase 1, was just quantifying how much
Right.
water we had at all of our analysis points within the watershed. So now that we have that, Phase 2 is going to consist of the hydraulic analysis and the documentation. So we are going to be creating models of the rivers to delineate those floodplain boundaries. And then we are going to be performing a proposed improvement analysis for the 2 identified areas of interest that we had come up with earlier this year when we met with Mayor and Zach about coming up with some areas that we were concerned about. Those 2 locations are shown here. So location 1 being Benton City Road in Somerset, and then location 2, the culvert crossing under County Road 681.
So I don't mean to interrupt you, and you'll probably cover this at some point.
Sure.
But my question is, when you look at those 2 slides there,
Mm-hmm.
runoff just from the rain itself, is that gonna be addressed and shown?
Mm-hmm.
Which areas have a tendency to flood?
Yeah, so when we map the floodplain boundaries, it'll show what areas are
Okay.
inundated with floodplain
Perfect. Thank you.
flooding. And then we do intend to hold a public meeting where citizens can express any concerns with flooding issues in the area. So we will hold that meeting with Zach and council members if we would like to, a public meeting just to get some input from the citizens on where they're seeing the flooding.
We can help you with that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We actually already track it for emergency purposes. So those are the two areas that, because of the effect that it actually has, but there's smaller areas that we really want to prioritize, like Adams Street is one of them in there. That we want to put a little bit of emphasis and try to see how we can help that area out.
Okay.
I know that you guys have helped us out with a study over at the
Lake Shore.
That was one in there. But I would say the Adams Street, just because of the number of homes that gets affected
Okay.
on that. These are very important because it literally closes out people where they can't get across, or it actually closes our only southbound lane to be able to get through that. So, but yeah, we really do track. Our Public Works does a great job of making sure that as soon as we start getting an indication of some heavy rain where we actually need to do that. Actually,
And more importantly, this study will prove by numbers that these are flood.
Exactly. It'll show
zone areas.
why it's flooding,
Right.
where, yeah, exactly, it'll show the proof.
I think the biggest thing in council is kind of that last bullet point there, that once they model it all out, they'll be able to actually show where we can make improvements to the
notice
system.
one of them is down
Right.
there and the other one over there.
Exactly.
681, and one down there. But those are the areas that we track very closely, and our police department helps us out.
Okay.
Whenever we have some sort of flooding, we actually go ahead and go in there, whether it's barriers or closely monitoring and see what's going on and stuff like that. And it sits in the back,
I might take a picture then at some
so
point.
yeah, you can
Yeah.
definitely do that.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll put it over here,
Perfect.
and then if you want to do something, and then later on we can talk about it. But
Sure.
this is the map that we actually use. Okay? You can take a look at it.
Great.
Cool beans. We get a discount because right?
Right. Because you're tracking it already,
Yeah,
yeah.
we've already helping you out, so you get a
You're
little
doing some of the
discount for the
work,
city.
yeah.
A little bit. That always works out good. Try to do that. Council, questions?
Oh, just one more point, if I could make another.
Yes.
So to wrap up the project, we will be submitting a LOMR to FEMA to revise all of the floodplain that's shown on the FEMA firm maps within the
That's
city.
good.
So I just want to make that point as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, yes, that's all I had. So any questions?
That's a good lead into item 2, so.
So the good thing with this, and Zach, if you want to talk about it, so, people have asked the question of why we're spending $7, right? Our residents are paying $7 in their bill. And this is one of the reasons why, so we could go ahead and get these plans done. We can get an idea and come up with a plan, get an action that goes along with that, and then be able to mitigate in certain areas where we need to go ahead and make some drastic changes. For those of you that have lived here for a long period of time, you all know that Bend City, that's one of the areas that when it floods, it's going to flood, and there's a lot of water and that's going to be a major project. More than likely, we'll need to go after a grant or some sort of funding, but
Right.
we got to have it in a plan, right? We got to
exactly.
show it in the plan in order for us to be able to do something about it. So we appreciate all your efforts in getting us started and getting it going in the right direction.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of that, Mayor, I just also want to state that flooding is no more important than the resident that has the flood. The resident that's getting the water coming in, but the importance, like the mayor said, of this study is to be able to have that data to show where the most critical ports are. That's what Mr. Zachary said.
Yeah, I mean, we-
focused on those and be able to move out from there.
Yeah, I mean, we all know certain areas that flood. I mean, everybody that's lived here, or even me, who's new, right? I mean, we see it. It's identifying it, having the improvements identified, so that we can actually go tackle those things. Because we all know it happens. It's just a matter of the engineers need to tell us how to fix it.
Yes, this is money well spent.
Yeah.
You're going to meld together the water report you did on Lake Shore with phase 2 of this report?
That wasn't a plan, but we can include it as an appendix to this report.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they fit together, because Lake Shore, we know floods,
Right.
and the water goes somewhere,
Yeah.
and where it goes is down into Lytle. And
Yeah, so we're taking into account that whole development within this report with this project.
Mhm.
And so if we want to include that as an appendix, just in the
That
report.
probably is a good idea.
Yeah, we can do that.
Makes it unified.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Anything else, council? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Of course.
Appreciate the team. All right, let's go ahead and move on to item number C, and this is consideration and possible action concerning resolution number 2547, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Lytle, Texas, approving the terms and conditions of an agreement by and between the City of Lytle, Texas and Kimley-Horn and Associates for individual project order number 25-13-004 regarding engineering work associated with Drainage Master Plan Phase 2, providing for incorporation of preamble, authorizing the city administrator to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate such an agreement, and providing an effective date. Zach?
I mean, Mayor and Council, this is obviously just authorization to get Kimley-Horn started on phase 2 of the project. As you just heard, what their plan is. They provided the task order on outlining all those different tasks, and then also provided an update on the original payment schedule and kind of what was completed as a part of phase 1. So all that was included in the packet. So, and they're still here if you have any questions or concerns about anything.
Mayor, I'd like to start by making a motion to approve Resolution 25-47, resolution of the City Council of the City of Lytle, Texas, approving the terms and conditions of an agreement by and between the City of Lytle, Texas and Kimley-Horn Associates Incorporated for individual project order number 25-13-004 regarding engineering work associated with Drainage Master Plan Phase 2, providing for incorporation of preamble, authorizing the city administrator to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate such an agreement, and provide effective date today of November the 10th, 2025.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Got a second? Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All yeas. All right. Thank you. Appreciate it, council. Let's go ahead and move on to D, consideration of possible action concerning resolution number 25-48, the resolution for the City Council, City of Lytle, Texas, nominating Kimberly Falk to the Atascosa Central Appraisal District Board of Directors for a 2-year term of January the 1st, 2026 to December the 31st, 2027, providing for incorporation of preamble and providing an effective date. I think Kimberly has been doing this, she told us for...
Yeah, I think I put in there 17 years,
Yeah.
so.
I was gonna say 16, so yeah, so 17 years. We talked to her, she's willing to go ahead and represent us
Yeah.
for that, in the board. She's got a lot of continuity for the area. You know, I've heard she's done good things too, that goes along with that. So if I could get a nomination or a motion. or
Yeah, Mayor, I
something.
make the motion that we approve resolution number 24-48 as presented with an effective date of today, November 10th, 2025.
Okay, got a motion on the floor.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Got a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion?
Yeah, full disclosure, is that an appointment by the city for a person to represent? Or is that the board already put together, and how does that go about? It's not an election, it's just an
No,
appointment.
It's an appointment, yeah. Appointment to the board of directors, and, I mean, each entity gets their own nomination, but, yeah.
And I
Based
do-
on,
I do want to also add, we do share some of these appointments with like the school district.
correct,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
see the
Yeah.
board, and
Yes.
there's quite a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anything else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you, council. All right, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank
Have a
you.
great evening. Okay, let's take a look at E, consideration and possible action concerning resolution number 2549, a resolution of City Council of City of Lytle, Texas, amending the terms and conditions and an agreement by and between the City of Lytle, Texas and Ioka Engineering LLC for implementation of health inspection services, providing for incorporation of preamble, authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate such agreement, and providing an effective date.
All right, so mayor and council, obviously at the direction of council, we are asking to amend the contract and the scope of services for Ioka Engineers, and this is to add services related to health inspections. And so under Exhibit A of their scope and services, it would just be amended to add that language, as well as Exhibit B to amend the fee schedule that was included in the agreement. And then we'll obviously add on a different item later tonight, we'll have our fee schedule being amended appropriately. So, yeah, I mean, pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting because when I first read this item, I had so many questions, but then as I went down to the other items, they were all answered. They were all there. Because like, wait a minute, Mr. Zachary, why didn't you give us this information?
I know.
Yeah, it's all included in
Yeah.
further items.
Yes.
Okay,
Mayor, I can make that motion,
okay,
and that would be the motion to approve resolution number 25-49, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Lytle, Texas, amending the terms and conditions of an agreement by and between the City of Lytle, Texas and AOKA Engineering LLC for implementation of health inspection services, providing for incorporation of preamble, authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate such an agreement, and provide effective date today of November the 10th, 2025.
okay. Got a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Got a second? Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, council. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to F, consideration and possible action concerning resolution number 2550, a resolution of City Council, City of Lytle, Texas, approving the terms, conditions of an agreement by and between the City of Lytle, Texas and TACNIC, is that right? TACNIC LLC for booster station improvements, CSB 2025-06-03, providing incorporation of preamble, authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate such an agreement, and providing an effective date.
All right, so mayor and council, back in September, y'all did award the CSB as indicated to TACNIC for the booster station improvements, and so this is just the approval of the contract with that group, highlighting all they agreed upon during their award. So,
And interested parties already reviewed, we're all good?
yes, they've already reviewed. Actually, I think their signature was included in the one that's in here, so they've already signed. It's just waiting on our signature.
All right, Mayor, I make a motion that we approve resolution 25-50 as presented with effective date of today, November 10th, 2025.
Okay.
Second.
You have a second? Okay, thank you. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, council. It's a good project. We must be able to get that fourth booster pump in there, balance the system out. That'll be good. All right, let's go ahead and move on to G, consideration and possible action concerning resolution number 2551, a resolution of City Council of City of Lytle, Texas, approving the terms and conditions of agreement by and between the City of Lytle, Texas, and is it us?
USIO? I don't know.
USIO Output Solutions, I was trying to pronounce it, for the printing and mail service associated with the utility billing, providing for incorporation of preamble, authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate an agreement, and providing an effective date. So I think we got Devine and Zach.
Yeah, I mean, pretty simple. The proposal was presented to y'all at the previous October meeting, and this is the actual contract for y'all to enter into. It's a 1-year contract, I believe.
Right.
Yeah, so,
And nothing changed as far as the fees?
no. no.
Yeah, is this gonna be a Texas firm?
Yeah, they're at San
Do it?
Antonio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then after further reading, and then I saw that the initial setup is included in the price. Okay. Yeah, because it's quite expensive for the setup fee, but it's included. Okay.
You'll help us out, without a doubt.
Oh, yeah. And let's take advantage of the color printing, please.
Yes.
Mayor, I can make that motion.
Okay.
And that'll be to approve resolution number 25-51, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Lytle, Texas, approving the terms and conditions of an agreement by and between the City of Lytle, Texas, and USIO Output Solutions Incorporated and print and mail services associated with utility buildings, providing for incorporation of preamble, authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate such an agreement, providing an effective date today of November the 10th, 2025.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Got a second. Discussion? Question I have is, Yvonne, you're shooting for when to start using them?
This next,
This next month, they'll be ready to go?
yes.
Okay. Okey-dokey. Anything else? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you, council, appreciate that. Let's go ahead, we're doing good, doing good. Let's take a look at H. Consideration and possible action concerning resolution number 2552, a resolution of City Council, City of Lytle, Texas, approving the terms, conditions, and agreement by and between the City of Lytle, Texas, and TXLCO Bear County LLC for professional services agreement, providing for incorporation, preamble, and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate such an agreement and providing an effective date. I think we have a little list. Yes. Awesome.
Yeah, so it's just a professional services agreement with this particular group. So really the biggest reason for establishing this is to cover costs, and so we would establish an account or basically an amount that they would front load, and then any bills associated with reviewing development agreements or anything like that would be able to just come out of that amount that they would have, similar to what we've done with Lytle Farms or a couple others I think that we've had in the past. So Jesse from our law firm reviewed it and has approved the version that y'all see in the packet today. So I don't know
This
if
is
there's
all
anything else.
preliminary to development of the data center.
So this is for a particular development. Yes.
Yeah, so normally when you see professional services agreement, you think you're giving somebody money. In this case, we're giving the city money. We understand that to come in and develop an area takes time, expertise, money. We'll be talking to your engineer, your city manager, your city attorney, and that shouldn't be your burden, right? So we want to cover that cost. So we're going to deposit an amount with the city. It'll be in a segregated account, and when your consultants spend time on this matter, they'll bill against that account. It's a complicated issue. A piece of the property is in the city limits, a piece is in the ETJ, a piece is in the county, a piece is in your CCN, a majority is in South CCN. So there's a lot of moving parts, and so we know we're going to need a lot of expertise. So this is the first step in that process, and this agreement is just putting it in paper that we're going to deposit money with the city. And when that money runs out, we'll deposit an initial payment until everything's resolved. This right now is not approving any development or any permits or any construction or anything. This is just to get the ball started, the conversation started, and to make sure that the city's not burdened with any costs.
Jack, you're good with all the verbiage? And you say Jesse looked at it?
Jesse reviewed it, yeah.
Then I'll make the motion that we approve resolution 25-52 as presented with today's effective date, November 10th, 2025.
Okay,
Get
got
the
a
ball
motion on the
rolling.
floor. Do I have a second? Okay, Richard, thank you. Have a second. Right, discussion?
Does that also include water rights?
Well, water rights will be a part of the development agreement that ultimately comes. I mean, those conversations.
But is this,
This is just gonna cover professional services, that would be like an architect, an engineer, a CPA,
Yeah.
attorney, any of those
Okay.
things.
Yeah.
okay, thanks.
Anything, council, just so you know, anything that we actually do, we're gonna follow the same steps that we have followed with any previous development.
Yep.
So we're gonna make sure that we do it the most appropriate way and take care of it. This is, just like it was mentioned, this is the first step for us to go ahead and lay the foundation of how it's gonna need to be tracked, collected, worked on, and then in the future, we'll have some additional stuff that will come in front of council for consideration and for approval.
That's correct.
Okay? All right, with that in mind, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All yeas. All right. I, consideration and possible action concerning request for Paige Dawson on behalf of Clara Group for a 6-month extension of preliminary plat approval for Saddle Ridge Estate Phase 3 and a 6-month extension on preliminary plat approval for Saddle Ridge Phase 4. So, Mr. Cruz, you might hear a little bit about this now.
Yeah,
Just a little bit.
Yeah, so obviously, as the letters indicated and were provided in y'all's packet, we received letters for both Phase 3 and Phase 4 of Saddle Ridge. They are, the preliminary plats are set to expire, and as such, they are, so that they don't have to go through the full process again of P&Z and ultimately council and the public hearings and everything that's associated with that. They are looking to at least request a 6-month extension at this time. As the letters indicated, it's just the kind of the market influences and things like that they haven't moved forward on this. I think part of the issue with Saddle Ridge is also, as we know, the change in ownership, so that has delayed things as well with this particular development. So obviously it's a consideration. If y'all don't choose to do anything on this, then it will expire and then we'll just have to go through the process again as far as the preliminary plats. But nothing has changed as far as their agreement to build like the access road or anything like that. That's still on the table. It's still a requirement. It's just extending the approval of the plat that was given. So.
And in no way does that delay the access road?
No, no more than it already has been delayed. I mean, you heard from Kalar Group last time. I mean, they're looking to move forward. They've submitted plans. We've talked through everything. So I mean, as far as we're full steam ahead. Paige Dawson is involved in that as well. So yeah.
I just want to emphasize the importance of that access
100%.
road.
100%.
Yeah, this is just so we can kind of keep things still as an active versus having to start again.
Yeah.
To start again, Mr. Cruz is going to be asking, what's going on? I know. So that's the importance about this one, as they try to, and it is a very unique for them, just because, change of ownerships, different separation of money, so, it's being handled differently, so it can still keep the value of what the homes that they're putting in there and everything that goes along with that. They want to keep working on it that way. So.
Now, again, this is a complete council decision, and even if they get to 6 months and they ask again, you don't have to grant it at that time either. So it's just a way to stay the process for now and then move the can down the road, basically. So.
Mayor, I'd like to approve the request from Paige Dawson on behalf of the Clara Group. Clara Group for a 6-month extension of the preliminary plat associate. Sorry, I have a.
You're good.
Approval.
Plat approval for Saddle Ridge Estates Phase 3 and 6-month extension of the preliminary plat approval for Saddle Ridge Estates Phase 4.
Okay. Got a motion on the floor.
I'll second that.
Got a second? Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All yeas, motion carries forward. Okay. J, consideration and possible action concerning request from Paige Dawson on behalf of LGI Homes, Texas, for a 6-month extension of preliminary plat approval for Rosewood Estate Phase 2.
Yeah, so similar situation with Rosewood, other than the change in ownership piece, but they're just saying that with the market influences and things like that, Construction just doesn't make sense right now, so they are wanting to delay that 6 months, and it does expire if they have not done anything, and so they're asking for the same 6-month extension on their preliminary plat.
Mayor, I'd like to also make the motion to approve requests from Paige Dawson on behalf of LGI Homes, Texas, for a 6-month extension of preliminary plat approval for Rosewood Estates Phase 2.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you so much. And let's go ahead and move on to K, consideration and possible action concerning ordinance number 2521, an ordinance of the City Council, City of Lytle, Texas, amending Chapter 10, Article 2, food establishments. I think we got, oh, here we go.
Yes, here you go, you can pass this down. So the city had previously adopted an ordinance very similar to this, right? That basically, by default, the state is in charge of, the Department of State Health Services is in charge of permitting restaurants, right? So when you go up to a restaurant, you see the A+ health inspection, that by default flows through the state. If the county, or the state law does allow a county or a city to take over that function, and be the entity that issues the permits and conducts inspections, and then will also field complaints and deal with compliance. Everything that the state does, we just do it at a local level. So a lot of times you'll see like Bexar County does this, and unincorporated Bexar County, you have to go to the Bexar County Health Department, right, to get your permit for food. San Antonio, a lot of big cities, it's common to you're engaging with the San Antonio Department of Health, right? So it looks like, as best we can tell, the city kind of started this process and never really followed through with it. At least, I mean, because this goes back to like 2010 when y'all adopted this ordinance, so it's unclear exactly what transpired. But to get to a place where the city takes over those functions, my recommendation is to adopt this ordinance. It does make some changes. It clarifies, some things about inspections. Some of the citations just needed updating because stuff had moved around in the code as far as like where the health standards are, where the inspection requirements are. So that's been updated. And then one other important change is I went ahead and removed mobile food units from this entirely, and made clear that the state will be responsible for regulating those. Reason being, the legislature just passed a law that as of July 1st, 2026, cities are no longer going to be allowed to regulate or permit mobile food vendors. If I have a food truck and I get my permit from the state, I can operate in any city, and the city can't say, you also need a permit from us, right? So that's just a change in state law. Since we're doing this now, we would have had to make that change in July anyways. So I went ahead and just included it here.
So Austin, on that, I totally get the permit, and it's issued by the state or just covered that way. But the food inspection portion of it, who would be doing that?
It would still be by the state. It does allow for what's called a collaborative agreement between the state and a local authority. So you can opt in, but you would need to sign a separate agreement with the state to be their health inspector on the ground here with regard to food trucks.
Because I remember with another community, and we had that discussion when the legislator came out with that. They basically said that the permitting, because like if somebody wanted to come here, and we've actually operated where if somebody came to us and they already had a food permit or they had an inspection permit that came from one of the other counties, that we would honor them. We wouldn't ask them to do something. Mm-hmm. So we didn't have anything like that, even though we had been suggested. So now it changes and we don't have to worry about it. But that's more like the initial, right? Because you have to inspect, look at the suppression system, look at all that stuff that goes along with that. But then there's reoccurring. So then you have the food portion of it. And that's the one that I'm asking about. to make sure that that's followed through. So is that the one that you're saying that it would become a partnership afterwards?
That's my understanding, is that there's a carve out to say, there's a carve out for them basically to outsource, the state to outsource the inspection process to cities.
And I
Probably
get
what's
it, because a lot of our food, we have some folks here that have them, and they travel to different places, right?
That's what it's designed to get
So,
around is.
and we get
yeah,
that, but
yeah.
at the same time, the routine stuff of how you're gonna be able to take care of something if it's coming into the city. Not
What-
that they would need a permit, but they would actually have some sort of inspection, right?
So you basically, you can't permit and you can't regulate in a way that is any harsher than what the state
Oh,
does,
yeah,
but
yeah.
like,
I'm with you.
is your question, can our local health inspector go to a food truck and inspect it? Is that the question?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, if they are here, what he's asking. correct
Yeah,
me
if you
I'm
get a
wrong there,
complaint
is like
saying
if we
they're
get a
not washing
complaint
dishes,
or
right.
hey, while we're doing some other ones in town,
Yes.
that person can go by the food truck and say, check all that.
So
they would
the-
have the authority to do that.
Yeah,
still.
the difference is our recourse, if we find a violation of a food truck, our recourse is to report that to the state for action. We can't, there's no action we can take at the
So-
local level.
On the fire marshal side, are we not inspecting?
Well, that's
food trucks?
totally separate. Yeah, fire would be
But
different.
How
This
do we
is-
prevent, so if they say I'm licensed by the state, here's my license, how are we shutting them down if they don't meet our fire code here? Because the state
That'd be
doesn't have our-
totally separate. This is just health and sanitation. This is your sink hot enough? Are you washing dishes?
I
Are you,
understand,
yeah.
but they're permitted by the state, which recognizes the life safety code, which is a much lesser code than the international fire code.
Yeah.
They're licensed by the state, I've been inspected, I'm sure not by the fire marshal, just their health, right? But here's my license from the state that says by law I can operate in any jurisdiction. And then I'm gonna go in and say, well, you don't meet our fire code, you can't operate in our city, is that how we're gonna do it? We're not gonna allow you now under that state?
I'll have to double check. My understanding is that you still have to meet local requirements like zoning requirements, right? You can't go, if we say food trucks aren't allowed in residential neighborhoods, a permit from the state,
So I think the
food
problem
standpoint
though
doesn't have to-
becomes on the fire side as well as what you're kind of mentioning there. Obviously, there's not anything in zoning, but the only section we had on mobile food units was in this section. So I think there probably needs to be a completely new section made somewhere covering that aspect as well as anything
Yeah.
like that.
I
Yeah.
with that.
I will check.
Our
Yeah,
fire
what I
codes
was
are
looking at
different
this
than the states.
was just strictly from a food and sanitation
Sure.
standpoint.
Yeah.
So,
Because there was, and correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, but at one point, I think Jesse was involved in it originally, but there was talk of doing an actual separate mobile food unit ordinance
Yeah,
completely.
if somebody, yeah. if
With
somebody was
like food
coming
truck
in here,
parks
they
and
would
that kind of
get-
stuff, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think we probably need to look at that piece as far as it relates to the
and we can
fire
definitely
code.
do that. Yeah, that's
But in
going
health
to
and
be good.
sanitation, I totally understand.
Yeah, that would be, and that would be separate, parts of the code. And honestly, that would get into how much, and it may not even be clear until next year how much the changes,
Yeah.
how much the legislative, because they're going to implement all these rules, right?
Yeah.
And then there's
Yeah.
a period of time where kind of how does that interact with other existing rules?
Yeah.
But I'll be glad to look into it. If it's something we need to do, we can address that.
Just to
separately.
balance both of them, Austin. And I'm with you. I mean, I
Yeah.
know there's certain states, but there's still certain things locally that need to be checked and be able to take a look at, so.
Well, and there are still regulations in the same space, like some cities will have like a bathroom requirements, parking requirements related to food trucks, right? If you're gonna park for a certain amount of time, you need hand washing facilities and
Well,
things
and
like
we had
that.
built in some of that this last, I mean, gosh, that was, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago when we adopted sanitation requirements per.
Yeah, if you're gonna
so
sit there and eat
for
versus if
mobile
you're taking food
units,
to go.
yeah, so.
So I'll be glad to look into all that. We wanted to get the ball rolling on this, mainly because you'll see at the end of this, there's this ordinance and the
Can-
step that was missed in 2010. This has to get submitted to the Department of State Health Services, and then they will look at it and post it on this registry of local health authorities that the city's not currently on yet. So they'll post that there, and it's got to be posted, I think, for like 60 days before the city can actually start issuing permits and conducting the inspections and doing the whole thing.
So we can
So-
make a motion on this tonight and we'll work on the
Yes.
fire issue separately.
Yes, we'll do that separately, but this is the effective date of this is February 1st.
Right.
So, but we will mail it to the state tomorrow, let them know that we're gonna get in the business of doing this. And then we will have, December and January to work with Zach, work with AOCA, get everything set up so that as of February 1, everything the state had been doing previously will become handled by the city. And that's gonna entail getting new applications and getting the kind of infrastructure set up for how to do that.
So in consideration of our discussion tonight, we can still approve this ordinance as written without any
Yes.
amendments needed, right?
Yeah, if you approve this tonight, that will start the clock basically to when we can.
Fine, I'll make a motion then to approve ordinance 2521 as presented, with effective date today, November 10th, 2025.
And I did include a sample fee schedule to the extent it differs from yours. You and I
Okay.
can work that
Oh,
out.
that was what I was gonna
Yeah.
ask. That was my one question.
I included it in this ordinance because it has to be one thing that goes to the state.
it.
But we can,
We can move
with
it out.
council's understanding, I'm
We can
gonna make,
adjust it based
I'm gonna
on-
make this exhibit A match whatever he,
Okay,
On the next side.
yeah.
perfect. Okay, got a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We got a second? Okay. Any further discussion?
So my concern had always been the nonprofits exceptions
So,
and the postings. So it's on page 3, item B, it talks about the exemption. So then, they have to comply with the state laws.
they just don't need a permit to operate.
They still need a permit to operate.
They do not need, and that's under your
They
current
don't
rules.
need-
In this currently, they don't
You
need.
do not need a permit to operate.
So how does the city of Lytle know this person or group is nonprofit, and
So the very
how do
next-
we know that they are not required to comply with the permitting?
The very next sentence at the end of Part B says, "The regulatory authority, that's the city, may require any information necessary to determine whether an organization is nonprofit for purposes of
And
this."
who would that be?
The regulatory authority is the city.
So
It'd
then,
be AOCA who
AOCA.
ultimately, we just.
is that code
added to-
compliance, is that?
Yeah, I mean,
That's-
That's, that's the
I mean-
details we're gonna work out later, because y'all are gonna need basically to establish a Department of Health, and we haven't talked about what that looks like yet, but we're outsourcing the inspection function to AOCA. We can outsource the permitting function to them as well, but there still needs to be somebody on the city's end. If you just wanna call it city manager, that's fine, but we can work that out.
Austin, I
Or
think the last,
Mr. Deere,
I think the
don't know
last
if
sentence
that would
is
fall
more
under, no?
just verifying that they're a nonprofit, right? In other words, turning in their paperwork, their 501.
If you get a report saying someone's operating a restaurant, and we go over and they say, "Oh, no, we're exempt, we're a church," right? We can ask for anything,
And
tax
that's why I
tax
always-
paperwork, whatever.
That's why I always went back to have it posted. If they're exempt, that should be posted on the window that they're exempt.
Is there any, would it solve the issue, and this is kind of, I guess, a question for you, but also Councilman Rodriguez, would it solve the issue if we still require them to permit, but we just don't charge?
Yeah, and that's one of the options.
So that way, we still have, we're still getting that initial kind of look at it from the very beginning, so it's not complaint driven, because there's enough that's complaint driven, right? Is there any issue with doing it that way? Other than obviously amending the
Yeah,
language?
charge, have no fee.
You wanna require a permit and just waive the fee.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I
how
would
does the
have to
city know other
check.
than what you described earlier?
Yeah, I would have to check and see whether it's a
It's like
statutory
discretionary, yeah.
or something we have.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
No, honestly, if we can, just to do.
Okay, here, this answers your question. A county or a public health district can't require a nonprofit organization to obtain a permit. And I would have to look to see whether that extends to cities as well.
I guess it would.
I would think if counties and public health districts can't do it, then we probably don't want to do it either. But that's the whole idea, is if you go and someone says, "I don't need a permit, I'm a nonprofit," where we can ask whatever follow-up.
Why is it so difficult to just show your permit on the window?
The permit that you're a nonprofit?
Yeah,
There's not really a
you have to
you
follow
post
as a
your
nonprofit.
file-
You can't just say I'm nonprofit.
Yeah,
correct?
Post your 501c3 like.
Yeah, exactly. Why can't that just be posted? Why can't the city require that to be posted on the window? And then as the city administrator was talking, just charge a nominal, just a zero fee, just so we have that documented. I'm trying to get away from somebody pulling up and just opening up. It should fall under the city's responsibility to provide a safe and healthy environment for our citizens.
So you want to know, can we force a nonprofit to announce that it's a nonprofit in order to operate in the city?
But, I mean, the last sentence says on there that a regulatory authority may require any information necessary to determine whether an organization is a nonprofit.
Yes, but he's asking to skip that whole step. Can we
No,
just force all nonprofits?
that's still part of it.
Yeah.
But I would like, in addition to that, to have it posted.
I mean, if they're
If they
gonna,
have, if it's just getting a permit from us at no fee, and then gets posted on the window.
if you look at, and I know that's exemption, but if you go into number 6, right above it, above B, on there, it says a valid permit should be, well, that's a permit,
Yeah.
posted on every
Yeah.
food establishment.
You
Since
generally-
we can't permit them under that statute, so, I mean, I think the only way to answer your question would be if there's just a way to initially tell nonprofits that, hey, if you're gonna do it, you gotta have it posted that you're a 501c3 at all times.
I would need to think about it honestly. I don't know what because there is not really like a nonprofit permit.
Yeah.
There's a letter you get from the IRS certifying that you're a nonprofit.
But it's just showing the paperwork.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't take away from today's motion.
No, it'd be a separate problem.
If they come in and they say we're a nonprofit, you say prove it to
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
and then you say okay.
That's what's allowed under this.
If
ordinance.
anybody goes to them and says, are you a nonprofit? We already told the city, go check with them, they'll
Yeah.
tell you that we're okay.
However, what I'm trying to get away from is just having somebody pull up a trailer and start selling food without going through any of that.
Well, we can't regulate mobile
My hope
food
is
vendors
that we
anyways.
would,
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
the mobile. But I mean, with the exceptions talking
This is
about
really designed for like
roadside
after church, someone wants to have a potluck, right? We don't the city doesn't regulate that. The state doesn't regulate that. It's a nonprofit group serving food to its members.
Well, it's
you know.
not a nonprofit group, but it's a charitable.
Well, most churches, yeah,
Yeah. Well, if
and
the
Boy
church
Scouts of
doesn't.
America, right? Nonprofit one
But
state.
if a family goes out there and has a barbecue and starts selling plates,
Yeah, at the point that it's open to the public is where that's where you need like a temporary permit. You still have to obey all the normal laws, like food handlers and all of that.
okay. Well, I mean, what I'm trying to get across is I want our citizens to feel safe whenever they go to a food truck or they go to some establishment that's selling openly like this, and if it's a nonprofit, then it should be stated. It's just for the safety of our citizens to know that they are following health rules, and especially if we're starting to start doing all this stuff now.
yeah.
We're paying for it, why not?
I will be glad to look into that. Yeah, that's not something I like to do, but I will be glad to look into it.
Thank
The
you.
extent to which we can regulate nonprofit food sales. Yeah.
Good discussion. Okay. Anything else? Okay. All those in favor? Any opposed? All right, Austin, thank you for your help on that. Just do little tweaks here and there. So, be able to take care of that. All right, let's go ahead and move on to L. Consideration of possible action concerning ordinance number 2522, an ordinance of the City Council, City of Lytle, Texas, amending fiscal year 2025-2026 master fee schedule to add fees related to health inspection services.
All right, Mayor and Council, just as we amended the AOCA's contract, this is just amending our particular fee, master fee schedule to incorporate those same costs into the fee schedule. And so you see them highlighted there in the ordinance. So that's pretty much it.
Okay. Yeah, we'll probably need to coordinate with Austin. Just I'm looking at this.
Yeah, we'll
yeah.
knock it out.
Be able to get all that. That'll be good.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance number 25-22, ordinance of the City Council of the City of Lytle, Texas, amending for the fiscal year 2025 to 2026 master fee schedule to add fees related to health inspection services.
Okay, got a motion on the floor, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Got a second? Okay. Any discussion?
That's with an effective date today, isn't it?
Yeah, the effective date can be today. They won't actually take effect
Until
until,
we publicize it.
Yeah.
well, and until the 60-day counter's up.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not gonna be doing any inspections or issuing permits that would trigger the fee until
Yeah.
the state gives the go-ahead.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All yeas, okay. Cool. Okay, 6:46. Okay, department heads, how we doing? Feeling good? Okay. Let's go ahead and move on to number 7, department reports, and let's go ahead and animal care and control department report. Come on up.
Good evening, everybody. Mayor and council, here to give the report for the month of October. Okay, so we have, calls for service was 14, traps set was 0, animals euthanized 0, animals surrender 5, animals returned to owner 4, animal intake 8, adoptions 9, animal count 28 dogs, 10 cats as of October 31st. Currently we have 30 dogs, 6 cats, and 3 kittens. We had 2 transferred to the Humane Society on October 30th, Sally and Allie. Don't have any pictures this time. October 18th, 2025, Dragonfly Veterinary Services. November 2nd was a Halloween potty. Didn't go as planned, but we did manage to get some pictures here coming up. Bella's Pantry was canceled because of bad weather. That was when it was really windy and rainy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there they are.
And you had also partnered with some of the other around here, right, recently or a year?
Yesterday.
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 Okay.
Yeah, in Devine for it was the adoption extravaganza.
Okay.
So November 8th was Dragonfly. Yesterday, the 9th, was the adoption extravaganza. Those are the upcoming events. November 16th, we have Dog Day Out, when families can come in and take a shelter dog or cat for the day and bring them back before the day's over. Hoping that they can get fostered or adopted out once they spend some time with them. November 29th is Bella's Pantry. December 7th, we have the Empowerment Adoption event at Lytle VFW.
Okay. Let's keep working hard because unfortunately we got to, based on the limit of kennels that we have in there and for sanitation purposes.
Yeah, no, we've been talking, I've been talking with the team, and if it has to come down to hard decisions, we're gonna have to decide on that. So,
Keep working with the organization, see if we can get some folks
yes, of course,
to be able to take them.
yeah.
That'd be
Any
great.
questions for me right now? No?
Council,
No?
anything? Keep doing a great job.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is it, I think this is your official as a director, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Awesome. Happy. Congrats. Cassandra, here we go.
All right, we had 111 computer users for October and 96 kids users. We had 1,648 checkouts. It went up from last month a little bit, so we're still going strong. We only had 1 user for that app, but there was 55 loans, which is interesting. They're gonna turn it off, I think, at the end of the year, so their state is in talks with another company, or they put it out for bid so that they can get a new company to take over Boundless, because since those doors are closing, then they're not gonna be able to use it. And we had 4 new library card accounts, 39 renewals, and April made 9 library cards. Story time. These were our pumpkins for the pumpkin decoration. The one on the bottom left, we didn't get to take a picture of it before, so I had to kind of get one that looked similar to it. It had a mishap and it was leaking all over the top of the counter. We're like, what is it? We thought it was a leak in the library, and it was the pumpkin was leaking. So
Finding Nemo.
yeah,
Right?
it was Finding Nemo. That came in third, I think, or fourth. And the first Dogman came in first. The Medusa came in second, and
Wow.
the one of those two came in 3 and 4. I'm not too sure which one. So the kids had fun making them. And I had a Spark business meeting in October. We're still working on this. We're almost done with the team. We should be done by the end of the year.
Good.
And still offering that, and there's a calendar. And then the top left one, okay, that was Halloween. And then the middle one is, I think, cancer, some kind of cancer. I can't remember which one. And then the next one was pizza and cookies. And then the bottom one was a dog adoption. So we put that out, and we have our little stuffed dog that we put out there for them to see. We tell them to go visit the animal shelter. And that's it. Any questions?
Well, this Friday, right?
Right.
So you had last Friday. You had the
Oh,
you
yeah,
had-
yeah, the book sale, sorry, I was
yeah,
like.
you had the book sale,
Yes,
right?
it was okay. We're gonna try maybe to do another one in the spring, because people were still
Okay.
asking, and some of them got there late, and we either were already put everything away, so.
Okay.
But it went okay.
It went okay? All right.
Yeah.
Council, any questions? All right.
All right.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Public Works. Here you go, Pete.
I'm gonna try to make this quick because it's almost 9 o'clock.
9. Oh, we need to change that. Right? Well, my goodness.
Oh, wow.
I know. We haven't even gotten to Richie yet. Then we could have said it was Richie, right?
It'll be 9 o'clock when I get there.
I know.
Total work orders, we had 82. Water, we had 79. Meters installed, we had 1. Actually, we had 2 main breaks. There should be 2 up there. Which was, one was in coal mine, one was on 2790.
Yep.
We replaced 6 meters, no service line leaks, angle stops, replaced 1. Washer, 0. Service line leaks, we had 5. Customer leaks, we had 3. That customer request should be the city requested it, should be swapped around.
No, that's an awful high.
Yeah, it should be the 8 should be the customer's request. And we had 10 new H2O customers, 2 finals, 2 main stoppages for sewer. Miscellaneous work orders, we had 1. And then the total work orders. And the water usage for the month. And those are our new mowers.
Councilman, can you use them?
No. Off limits. And that's the main that was in coal mine that was leaking. And that's on 2790.
Who's playing in the water there?
Juan. And that's right there in coal mine.
You're not getting dirty there.
That's Josh in the water. And that's it.
You've been doing a great job.
Oh, we got 2 water leaks right now, which will be done Wednesday.
Yeah. So one 2790 and one over here. Once again, well, I don't know about this one, but I know the other ones. Just a reminder, council, some of these water leaks, unfortunately, is because the way that they were installed. So they got surrounded by rocks and all that. You get a little shift of the lane, and all of a sudden you get a crack, a hairline crack, right? And it happens that way. So, but these guys are tackling them and taking care of them and keep the integrity of the system as best as possible. We can do that. Any questions?
On those 2 new mowers, or the new mowers, I don't know the actual name of it. I call it the roll system. That does pop up, right? For rollovers?
No, it's just a halfway.
It's just a half?
Yeah,
Does it allow for the full size?
they should.
Can you look into that? I think that would be a good safety measure. Not that we're gonna be flipping it, but it would definitely help if it did flip over. I'll roll on the side, if you could look into that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right,
Good
thank you,
job.
sir. Appreciate that. All right, Richie. There we go.
245 calls, pretty much everything in there is just about normal. 169 citations, the big one was registration still. Thought it'd be speeding, but registration, look at that pie chart of said. Rest, you know, guys are knocking out a lot of arrests for guys and gals. We had 7 this week, but you can see them. There's, you know, DWIs, warrants, burglary. Of course, one of the biggest ones was the case where we got the guy with the, they were messing with ATM. It's a big crime spree people that were all over the country, really. Same people that hit here actually hit up, that same vehicle hit up in, gosh, was it Plano or McKinney, right?
Hit all of them.
Yeah, but they actually went, so anyway, they're all over the place. And we did make an arrest on that. What else? More arrests, same stuff, DWI, a lot of DWI, drug paraphernalia.
You made the mistake and came down the Lytle, right?
Yeah, well, a lot of people tangle with me. They end up in cuffs, or I end up sore and hurt. But anyway, no. But yeah, we've been fairly fortunate with, you know, a good group of officers that are out there active. There's just enough work here to where you don't burn yourself out, but not so much that you get lazy, which is really the sweet. It's been described to me as this size city and department is kind of the sweet spot, you know, where you have enough where you can still go out and be a small town cop and then you still have enough crime to keep your skills up. Let me see. And thefts, I mean, we had 3 thefts reported for the whole town. Let me see, we had my mom's gate, was that in October? So it's the 1st of October. That was my mom's gate they took. So one of them, talk about a small town, there you go. 1/3 of the crime was my mom's. At HEB theft and then Halloween skeleton, you know, decoration. So, you know, burglary, 702 Tejas, they did cut in that place. And there's a couple ATMs, one for some gaming machines, and they got into it, and it belonged to the people who had the machines, and then they did some damage to the guy's building. Let me see what else.
That ATM or the bank, was it the one on the outside?
No, it's actually the ones in the drive-through. It's one of the ones they were using.
The 3 or
Yeah.
whatever?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wow.
So they really, all they do is basically they take and get inside it and basically pull the hard drive out, download something to it, put it back in, and it's called jackpotting. You can look it up. I learned it just, you know, I didn't know anything about it before that. And they can make it spit out money. And, you know, it's actually a decent skill, I guess. Anyway, what we got there? Activity, siren test, Police Chiefs Association, National Night Out, of course. So October, I'll go ahead and cover this one. October 14th, the sheriff called all the police chiefs in the county, which in Atascosa is Pleasanton, Jordan, Poteet, and us. There's no Charlotte anymore. So us 4, and he said, hey, starting January 1st, 2026, you are going to be responsible for sex offender registry. What is a sex offender registry? 1991, Texas DPS instituted sex offender registry. Initially, it was so law enforcement have an idea where your sex offender lived. The law has been changed constantly since then, you know, and changed. When it came about, the county was nice enough basically to say we're just going to do the whole county, you know, and when really the departments, most places the departments do their own. So, you know, so we've him-hawing around for what's that, about 91 to here, what's that, about 30-something years with the sheriff's department doing it. But now they're up to about, with the growth in Atascosa County, they're about 250, 275 sex offenders, and it's just too much, especially when you look at towns like Pleasanton that probably have a huge amount compared to us. We have about 3 or 4. So the deal is, though, what that entails is everybody's different. Some sex offenders have to register; they have to come in and check in maybe once every 6 months. Some maybe once a year. Some quarterly. But they also have to check in if I'm a sex offender and I change my email address or I get a different social media account. I have to report that. And so there's stuff that when 1991 didn't exist. You know, it was just basically what's your phone number, where do you live, you know, da da da. Now you've got all this other stuff that's come with it. So we will be doing that. Now, of course, obviously the biggest question was how the heck do we do it? We don't know anything about it, you know. They said, well, we'll help you. Here's a guy with a state DPS. I reach out to him. He says, you know, we can do some stuff to get you up and going. There's some classes. I said, well, when do you have classes? Where are they? So he goes, well, there was one in a suburb of Houston. There's one in Anna, which is up just the other side of McKinney, and it's actually Wednesday. So Danny and David were off, and they're going up tomorrow after the Veterans Parade to North Texas, and they'll attend that class on Wednesday. So they will come back, get their accounts set up, and we will we'll meet with that gentleman from the state, and we will start sex offender registry we'll be up and running, and we have to import them into our system from the county. I mean, it's, you know, but anyway, it's going to be a little more work. Once we get going, we'll be fine, but it's just another one of those things that I can't blame the county. Really, we just kind of took it for granted all these years.
One January?
Yeah, so I mean, we're 6 weeks out, so that's why it's important to get them guys up there and into something.
Can you fill the council when you do get more information on that?
Well, basically, I can tell you, if you want to know what's going on, go to the sex offender registry and you look at.
No, but I was wondering if someone was to come into a city, are they required to report to that city?
Well, what they're required to report to is whoever does the sex offender registry. So normally when they come in, they always come to us. A lot of them will, and we'll say the county doesn't. Yes, they're required. Yes.
And then you can also cross-reference to their current residents.
Oh,
see
yes,
if
sir.
anything's in line with that, and then
all that.
Okay.
Yes, all that. When we already know, yes, all that is pretty much documented. It's just a matter of we're going to be the ones responsible for. I mean, Atascosa County was actually taking care of some that were in Medina County. So, you know, it was, anyway, we'll get it all worked out and we'll be good to go. Okay. But it is a little more than, you know, a little something different, you know, new. And it's going to take a little work. What else? Some escorts, cross-country, band, Halloween event at the bank, extra officer on hand during Halloween night. No real problems there. We did pick up a couple of DWIs, but in general, Halloween was nice. Fire marshal stuff, underground plan review. That's the church hall over there, primary school, vehicle fire at Stripes. We had a fire inspection at a Church of Christ over there. We had a fire, and a couple fires officers responded to that were unauthorized burns in the city. 7 cases at the county, 7 cases, 7 people at the county's office, 1 and 1 felony. A lot of that just depends on how the acceptance dates roll, and those numbers are kind of low, but I know we just took a whole lot earlier in last Friday. 16 hours overtime, 46 hours vacation, 25 hours sick leave, 8 hours other leave, and assist agencies outside. Let me see, Bexar County with we got called upon 35 for somebody performing CPR on a person. Disturbance on Roadrunner, that's out there past Quail Creek. La Paz, we were out there with that was a drowning, I'm sorry, that was actually a drowning of a small child we responded to. That was a terrible, terrible scene. The 13th, disturbance on Lucky Road, disturbance on Kinney Road, that's the ones right out there, not the Kinney Road off 35. Welfare check, 2790 McCoy, that's actually our jurisdiction, really. Our 2790 McCoy is actually in the city. DPS with the DWI, right here near town. Traffic stop on 35. Medina County with a missing juvenile. I guess we out and then Atascosa County with an accident on 35. Avery. Actually, I went to the one on Avery. That was supposedly it was a Saturday middle of the day. It was a Amazon truck turned in front of a car and it rolled over. We got reports there was a child in it, so that's why I responded out there. And actually, I was the first law enforcement emergency vehicle out there and helped direct traffic. So Sometimes they're closer, we might not have went, but that one we did go. It's out past Bow Creek again. Mental health, we had, let me see, some detentions, some mental health detentions there. What do we have, about 5 of them there? And background checks, Danny does most of those. We did just 5, so not too many there. And we had 2 deliveries to labs, one Houston, one Austin. And that, we closed our applications for police officers. We did not get any, which might be the first time, but it might be the second time. I can't remember. Matt, do you remember if we ever? That's the first time we never got any. I wish I could get up here and say, well, you tightwads if you give me $1 more an hour, but that's not it. I mean, it's not. There's a lot of places hiring. You can look on there and see. It's very competitive right now, all across the state. Jobs that used to, jobs that used to not pay anything in some of these jurisdictions now pay very well, and there's just a lot of openings, lots going on, and so we're going to re-advertise again after the first of the year. I mean, we've been lucky. Most departments have been struggling with this for a long time. We've been kind of lucky. But the good thing is with a 12-person department, we can be one short and it doesn't put us in a critical bind, So we're okay. We'll go back to that. Again, I wish there was a simple answer. A lot of it's just simply timing. The next step from this, if you can't get, certified qualified applicants, you start hiring people and vet them, and then you hire them and they go up here, they spend 6 months in the academy up here at a reduced salary range, and then they come on after that, and that's other things different places look at, and we're not there, but there's a lot of options. With an academy up the road, we're a little more blessed than most places, 20 minutes, 10 minutes away, but that's where we are. I think that's it. Otherwise, everything's going well. We've got equipment coming in for those new vehicles. One of them's over getting decals on it. Everything's pretty good. I mean, I can't really complain. I mean, we're pretty blessed. Anything I might have forgot something, but if I did, I would.
Council, any questions?
I have a general question.
Yes, sir.
Do we patrol subdivisions, new and existing subdivisions?
Oh my gosh, we patrol everywhere, sir.
And if you catch a speeder in a subdivision?
Yes, but it's almost impossible to catch a speeder in a subdivision. I mean, it's just not, the way they're designed, it's just, like say Saddle Ridge, for example. It's almost, because if you turn, you got a radar on your vehicle, and you turn, by the time you turn, the person's, so you'd have to be, like Saddle Ridge, for example, the only place you could work, and I'm using them as an example, is maybe the main road, but you're just not.
Coming in off the
but you're
access
just,
road.
the stop sign's there, so it's not, it's just it's a very tight area.
And I imagine you patrol for suspicious activities and so
Well,
forth,
I
just
mean,
like throughout the city?
Our officers we have a deal called every street, every shift. Every officer on a 12-hour shift is going to go down every street, no matter how minute, mostly, almost all the time. Matt, percentage rise on that is where, now keep in mind, these guys are also, if they're making a lot of DWI arrests, they're not always going to be able to do that. But basically the percentage rate you're getting right now is where?
Man, I need to ask you that. We're probably 70-ish%, only because our night shift guys are picking up a lot of arrests. And mind you, they make an arrest, we're losing at least 3 hours of their 12-hour shift on just that one arrest. It's an hour drive time.
Yeah. So, with that being said, now every street I'm talking about, some of them, they don't go down, and Matt counts against them, but they're streets that they can see down. Like say, for example, if you go down the little stretch of live oak behind back
Right.
your house. And,
Just one block there.
Yeah, one block. There's a little block there. If they don't hit that with a GPS, then Matt counts it against them theoretically. But they actually can see down the street. Now, am I giving you? I don't mean to but I'm just giving you. That's a process we use to ensure the patrols.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the information, and I feel real safe here in Lytle. You guys are doing a great job.
Well, I appreciate it, but it's not. We're just one little bitty It's a
Yeah,
whole
but we're right off
community.
the highway, I mean,
Well-
that by itself.
The highway does create a challenge.
Yes.
If we were not on a major highway, we could probably, get rid of, if we weren't so close to San Antonio, we weren't on a major highway, we'd probably have about 7 officers and you'd be
No.
fine and dandy.
You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you. You're one of my favorite councilmen.
Thank you.
He'll pay you 20 bucks.
Yeah, yes, a little bit. All right, council. So, it is 8:10 right now. If you all okay, so that, because we have folks that are already here, and I know we're gonna have to go into executive session. If you all okay, can we go ahead and press into the informational items? We'll just go around, cover that. So all we gotta do is go into the executive session, and folks are not hanging around. Are you all, everybody okay? Can I get a motion for us to go ahead and do that?
I'll make a motion, Mayor.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you so much. So let's go ahead and press on to item number 10, and we'll go ahead and cover the informational items. So start over here, see if there's
So
anything.
our annual citizenship award has completed on October 31st, and we already have our appointees, and we will be announcing those at our next meeting, Mayor. And we got some very good candidates this year. And a reminder for next year and from previous years, if you submitted a nomination form and they were not selected, please resubmit every year. We cannot carry over from one year to the next, but please resubmit. Thank you, Mayor.
No, that is awesome. That is awesome. Great job. We'll talk a little bit about that, definitely. Zach?
Good.
Richie, Matt, Pete, Lon, anything? Going back over here, anything to pass on to general information? Anything?
Band update?
Yes, please.
Yeah, our band went to Beeville last week, and we came in 5th place, which allows us to go compete for state this coming Wednesday at the Alamo Dome. We will be having a send-off right out front here by the hardware store and the City Hall parking lot, and that will be 9:15 Wednesday morning. Richie will probably coordinate with you, Mr. Cheshire, to make that happen, to give us an escort out of town. They perform later in the day. There'll be a preliminary around 4 something, I think they're performing. And if they make the cut to the final 10, then they'll have to stay and compete again in the evening. And we're hoping they do well. But we're at the state for the 2nd year in a row, after having never officially been at state before. So we're doing very well. We're proud.
Yeah, and then we were mentioning earlier, I mean, these are young kids. We got really, a lot of them are young,
Yes.
so the future looks really good for the band. And of course, our directors have been doing an outstanding job. Teachers, the staff, everybody over there. The color guard is just unbelievable too. I mean, everybody's doing a great job all the way around. Okay, things I want to pass on, special thanks to Public Works and PD for handling the semi that was stuck on I-35 on the frontage road, so we really appreciate, oh, I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry.
Yes.
I'd like to motion to open up Triple G, the earlier case, because I thought the meeting was tomorrow, and so I wasn't able to be there, so.
Yeah, we weren't aware, we were mentioning that was tomorrow. We texted Zach earlier, but he never responded.
So we'd like to see if we can open that again.
And we wanted to see if we could discuss it.
Okay.
It's up to you.
If possible.
So, let's take care, we gotta take care of item number 10.
Yes.
If you guys would like to stay around, then we can go ahead and take a look at that, okay? I'll need to go ahead and talk to legal and make sure, because we did already take action,
Yes, we did.
okay?
We
So,
were told of the 11th,
So-
when we met with you last time.
so,
Y'all's action was to take no action. So,
yeah.
Which you didn't really need to do, yeah.
Yeah, so basically let me just take care of item
Yeah.
10 and then we'll come back to it. Okay, so first of all, special thanks to Public Works and PD for handling the semi-truck, I-35, so appreciate everything you guys did, handling a lot of stuff for TechStop. You guys went out there and took care of a very difficult situation so we could get the road cleared out on that. I want to say thanks to Michael for taking care of our concerned residents and working with your HOA. Appreciate you being out there, that meant a lot. Matt, thank you for attending the emergency management meeting that we had in San Antonio, representing the city for that. That was good, so we could get some information and keep taking care of that. Special thanks for PD for the escorts with all of our students. I know I've been keeping them very busy, but it's a good busy. We're going to go along with that. Thanks to Public Works for the cleanup event this weekend. You guys knocked it out. I want to say thank you to our council members too for helping us out. That were very successful, and I think it worked out really good in a timely fashion to do that. Thanks to Frank for his efforts with all the compliance. If you've noticed, we've been keeping our new compliance officer very busy, but he's been doing a great job out there. A heads up, WTG will continue. This is our gas people. We'll continue to work on the gas lines around the primary school. Hopefully here in the next 2 weeks, they'll take care of that area. You'll notice that there's a bunch of those metal things covering up. So hopefully they'll be finishing up with that. They should be done with everything down heading your way. Yeah, they should be. They should just be doing the finishing touches, but all the big stuff, they should already be done on that. Still posting, information about the past water collection issues that we had, in a sense of with the billings. So please make sure people know that everything has been corrected, everything is going to go out there. So we just need to make sure that our folks, council members, if you haven't looked inside your last bill, it was an orange flyer, right? That was in there? I think it was orange. It had all the stuff in there. Please get familiar with that. So if any of your residents in your districts are asking questions, you're able to go ahead and get an idea about that. Things that are coming up. We got Veterans Celebration tomorrow over at the elementary school. We have a parade that starts in Blue Drive, and then they go around, and then they end up with a performance. This year they're going to move it, I think, to the football field. So it should be pretty good if you have any folks out there to do that. I also do want to mention over in Natalia, they do a really good job too with the memorial celebration that they do. They like to cater to veterans that are still with us. So it's a great thing to be able to do that. And it's right at 11. So you can go to one and then go to the other. 22nd, do want to remind our folks, council, on the 22nd of November, you have an email from Paola about us getting together right before the holidays. So please make sure you look at that. It has all the details with that. On the 13th of December, we have our Wreaths Across America in the morning. And this is a thing that we are actually starting here. Devine has been doing it. We had folks that actually decided to put it together. It's a national program they're going to be doing here, and it's all our cemeteries. Wherever we have a veteran, they're going to get a wreath. They already have enough volunteers. They've gotten everything that they need, but it's a big celebration, just to let you know. And that's in the morning. In the afternoon, we'll actually have or in the evening, we'll have our hayride. And everything is planned. We should be putting the route here pretty soon that we're going to have, and all the details that go along with that. So the same traditional thing that we need to do that. Special congrats to our cross-country boys and girls. Our girls ended up in 5th place in the state. That is awesome. And our boys brought home the gold. So great job overall, highlighting Lytle, and kudos to the coaches doing all that. Football season is complete. We still have a lot of stuff that follows after that, including the band, and also with basketball and everything else that goes along with that. So stay tuned with all the different things that we actually have on that. Okay. In case I do miss the opportunity based on that, please for tomorrow, take the time and make sure that we actually highlight a veteran. Look out for those veterans that are out there. That's what Veterans Day is supposed to be, is highlight those folks that are still with us, be able to thank them for the service. Memorial Day in May is more for those that have passed away. We can do it both ways, but tomorrow it's more about putting a little bit extra attention to those that are still with us and have served our nation. Okay? Any last minute thing with information?
Yes. The drama club at the high school is putting on their fall play this Sunday afternoon at 3, and then Monday night and Tuesday night over in the auditorium at the high school. And I encourage you all to go out and see that. It's a comedy this year, and it's something that they don't normally do, but they're going to try a comedy.
That'll be good. We're able to take care of that. Okay. Anything else? Okay, Austin, with that one.
So there's really, what's pending right now is really a construction permit. right? And it's pending review with the city engineer. And so that's really where we landed on that subject. There's not anything for council to do per se. Really, all you'd be opening it up for would be for a citizen to allow comment. If you want to give them the 3 minutes to talk, you could do that, just to put it in the record and give you all information. But there's not really anything to reopen based on the discussion we had and where it landed.
Could you hear that?
I heard some of it, yes.
Okay, so basically, since we went ahead and put it back to get more information from the engineers, that's what we're waiting for, to get the information that goes along and make a determination on that. But we want to give you, if you would like to go ahead and take, since we already finished and did our portion, we didn't take action, we didn't do anything, it's still going to go back for the engineering to do that. If you do want to make some comments, you can come up and make some comments. You'll have 3 minutes to do that.
Well, my concern is how long
Come on
are they
up,
gonna take?
come on up.
My concern is how long are they gonna take to do it? We're trying to proceed and get it completed and do it in a nice way, in a pretty way. We don't wanna park like everybody else that parks on the county property or the city property. If you go down Somerset Road, you got people parking on the county property, city property, and we're trying to do it the correct way, but we haven't been allowed to do it the right way. And that's what I'm trying to get at. I don't know how long the engineers are gonna take. We still got a few, maybe a month and a half to complete it, but we do want to proceed.
No, we totally understand. And
Yes.
we got together and we talked about it.
Yes, we did.
So we know in a sense of the things that needed to be taken into consideration. So I think we're still waiting for that to be.
Yeah, Scott and Scott, our engineer, and Mr. Lopez got together last week and they worked stuff out, and so it's in their lap. I talked to Scott this morning. Like I said earlier, I expect an answer by Wednesday at the latest.
Wednesday, okay.
Yeah, that's what he's telling me. So.
Okay.
I'll pass that on.
Appreciate it. Keep working with Zach, okay?
Okay. We'll do that.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, with that in mind, council, it is, well, actually, what we're gonna do is, we're just gonna go ahead and proceed to the executive session. If you need to use the restrooms, just use the restrooms, and we'll go to the back. So let me go ahead and cover executive session 8. The City Council, City of Lytle may convene an executive session in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas. Government Code Section 551.071, consultation with the attorney to discuss and consider the following items. A possible research opportunity, and let's go ahead and show 823. Okay, let's go ahead and show Zach that we're back at 848. No action taken in the back. And item number 9, discussion and possible action regarding matters discussed in executive session. No action taken on that one. Paula, if you could please do that. With that in mind, I need a motion for us to go ahead and adjourn. It is 8:48.
Mayor, I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting for tonight.
I'll second.
A second, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you so much, council. I appreciate the adjustments and the flexibility with the schedule tonight. But we got done before 9 o'clock and we had a big list of stuff to talk about. So thank you for all your help. I appreciate all that. Be able to do that.
Good meeting.
Okay?
Oh, the trees are turning.
Thank you.